Planning your Saturday night can be a bit of a bitch. How about we make rock, not war? Load up Toxic Radio every Saturday night for the heavy metal happy hour with the one and only Fishman.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
There will be interviews, ticket giveaways, a little bit of banter with Toxic Mike, and of course great metal from the 80s all the way through today. Starts at 7 p.m., runs until Fish says it's over.
Get out.
Catch it only on Toxic Radio. Don't play it safe. Play it toxic.
Master, dinner is served.
Igor, it's not that I don't appreciate the effort, but you know I prefer my meals uncooked. And how many times have I told you about using garlic?
Yes, Master. Forgive me, Master. Please.
Bite into Paradelphia. Thursday nights at 8, only on Toxic Radio.
Paradelphia. Because what if it's all true?
Enjoying all that Toxic Radio has to offer? Well, make sure you like and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Be the first to find out about ticket giveaways, amazing guests, awesome contests, and Toxic Radio events. Just search Toxic Radio Live, all one word, and press that little button. Every time you do, someone here at Toxic Radio will get their wings. Yay! Well, not really. Aww. But we will get a warm, fuzzy feeling in our tummies. But then again, that just might be the beer. Anyway, like and follow us, and we will see you out there on the interwebs.
Welcome to week 27, Wire to Wire. I am your host, Gene Walzak, and to my right, I have the man, the myth, the legend, Scholastic Uncle Shally.
Uncle Shally.
To my left, I got Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, College Cottrell.
J.R. Smooth.
Rocking the 5, man. Come
What
on.
time is it?
I don't know. The game's tied, bro. We got our action-packed show for you today, and we're gonna recap the Masters. We're gonna talk about that. Some surprises in MLB. We're gonna talk about Major League Baseball. We're gonna introduce our coaches bracket, which I think is gonna be absolutely fun. We have NBA talk, little NBA talk. Jamal Murray, and then we're gonna go over the NFL draft. And if we have a little time at the end, we're gonna do the Athletico report. So I'm ready to rock and roll. We got a lot to go over, but if the first thing I'm going to start with is an amazing Masters that we got to watch, in which if you followed our show, you've made some money. We had 8 of the top 10. 8 of the top 10 were mentioned on this show. For us to do that is silly, stupid, and P. Gene A. Predicted the winner, a 48-1 dog. 48-1 dog. So hopefully someone at home followed with Matsuyama, who who made it really interesting down the at the end home stretch. Bill, you're a resident PGA guy. What did you think about this year's Masters?
It was good. I mean, it was, for not having Tiger there, it was still a very, very good tournament. You had big names there at the end, which is what you always want for any major. First 2 pages of the leaderboard were all household names. I guess the only thing that was disappointing to me was the rain, because it really softened up the course, which is what you don't want there. That was tracking to be somebody probably would win it like 5 or 6 under, and then they got all that rain on overnight or Friday, and then they got more Friday into Saturday. And it changed the complex of the tournament a little bit, because guys went out Saturday and shot at pins that you would never shoot at if you can't stick the ball there. But other than that, it was a great tournament, man. I mean, it got real exciting at the end. It could have been more exciting. I mean, we'll get into that later. But I listen. There's not a Masters I don't sit down and watch. It's my favorite golf tournament of the year. So I love it. So I'm a little bit biased, but I thought it was a great tournament. I'm very happy for Matsuyama. Great guy. Obviously very, very good golfer. He's won big tournaments before. First major ever for a Japanese-born player. Couldn't happen to a better kid. He's a very good guy. So I'm happy for him. He's going to go home, and that dude is a is a legend now. So
They
good
kept,
for him.
They kept talking about how Matsuyama wasn't looking at the scoreboard, kept his head down, but you could tell 14, 15, 16, 17,
tight.
18, he felt it.
15, he got real tight.
Yeah.
When he hit that ball in the water. I will say his chip up was they were talking about on the broadcast, and Faldo was even saying, like, this is what I would do. He's like, I wouldn't even try to put him in the green. And that's exactly what he did. And that probably pretty much secured a bogey for him. Because if you put the ball past the hole, it's gonna go back towards the water, and he would have two-putted easily. But it got tight. I mean, listen, you never won a major before, and you're sitting on the 15th tee at Augusta with a 2 or 3 shot lead. I don't care what you look at or how calm you try to be. It's going to start sinking in real quick that you're 4 holes away from winning a major.
I couldn't agree with you more. And listen, people are texting me, congratulations, you won. I'm sitting there like, shut up, stop doing that. Don't congratulate me. I've been a part of some really bad beats in my life. Like, I had the horse that won the Kentucky Derby that got disqualified for the first time in like the history of the race. I had like $100 on him at 10-1.
Man,
like that. That's so I'm not like, don't text me on the 14th hole being like, congratulations. My uncle's sitting next to me like, you won.
Nah, that's way too early, especially on a course like that. Because again, 14, 15, 16, even 18, you can bogey real fast. But it was, it was a good tournament.
I'm still caught up on the fact that you put $100 down on the Kentucky Derby.
Bro, I'll bet on anything.
Dude, I bet.
I will bet on everything.
I bet the hell out of the Triple Crown. We'll talk about the Derby in a couple weeks.
No, I mean, yeah, horse race is fine, but $100, that's a lot of confidence.
Bro, you hit a superfecta and like 2 long shots come in, you bet $2, you win like 40 grand.
$2 is not $100.
Well, $100 be $400,000.
So I got to get better at the superfectas. I don't understand them fully, but what I do know is that I get it, but one of the best people in the Derby ever was just like, this horse is going to win the race. I'm like, okay, well, who am I to argue? I don't watch these damn horses. So
That's fair.
$100 sounds
That's
like
fair.
Control, what'd you think about the tournament? What do you think? Because I really want her opinion instead. I'm kidding.
You can
professional golfer.
Yeah, she can call in and give her opinion whenever. But I liked it. It was a nice tournament. It was definitely interesting that Tiger wasn't there. I think that that wasn't as big of a story as I thought it was going to be. Like it got brought up, here and there, but outside of that, though, I thought the tournament was great. Bill, like you said, early on, I told you guys on Thursday I thought that Bryson was going to struggle that first day just because of how fast the greens were. Like, it was amazing to see, that course like that. And to Bryson's credit, though, he did adjust, and had he not had that bad of a round on Thursday, he would have been not like right at the top, but he definitely would have been at least in the conversation later in the weekend.
He played bad Thursday.
And Saturday.
Yeah, and then when he played bad Saturday, it kind of sunk him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen.
But for him to even make the cut, though, after how bad he played Thursday, though, he got to give him props.
He had
for
a very good comeback. Mickelson had a good comeback to make it. I'm trying to think. There was one other one that had like a big. I can't remember who it was. But listen, like with Bryson specifically, if you follow golf, they take very personally the way they set up that course. So when they hear somebody like Bryson, and it's not like Bryson's talking trash. Like that's how Bryson plays now. That's what he does. They're gonna make it difficult for him to win.
Right.
That's the fun part about Augusta, though.
It is, and that's what I say. Out of all the majors, that's probably going to be the hardest one for him to win because it's going to be the same all the time. So if he doesn't hit his drive straight, he's going to run into the same problem over and over and over. And when those greens are that fast, he just puts himself in positions that no matter how good of a shot he hits to the green, it's just not going to stay there.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see. I mean, it's his 5th Masters. I don't think he's never finished in the top. I think 20 they said, and I think he's missed the cut 2 or 3 times. I mean, so it's definitely the one that's the one that's gonna challenge him, that's what that course is, man. That course is just it's perfect.
Well, the thing about us is, and this is like, listen, when we're wrong, we'll sit here and say we're wrong, but top 12 because 10. A couple people tied for 10, so there's 12 people in the top 10 spots. I had Matsuyama and Rahm. You guys had Spieth, Rose, Connors, Reed, Smith, and Finau. Finau. 8 out of top 12, and we gave him on the show. That's pretty solid work as a whole. John Rahm, baby Rahm, Sunday came in. He watched. If he would have been there all weekend, we'd been good.
Maybe. He just couldn't get anything going on Friday. I think he was even Friday
on Sunday.
Yeah, Friday. I mean Friday and Saturday. I think he was sitting at like even. He just couldn't. He couldn't get anything going.
I just want to get into the elephant in the room about Xander on 16.
Oh, we will later.
Or get into it now.
No.
Okay.
That was unbelievable.
I listen. You heard his explanation. I'm going to defend him for a minute. His explanation was, I hit a perfect iron, the wind knocked it down. He's playing to win the tournament. He's 2 shots back. He can't predict that Matsuyama's going to struggle down the stretch. I got to, I got to defend the guy going for it. So.
I don't think that's the hole you do it though. Not with all things considered. Matsuyama literally just hit the ball in the water on 15. Like, that's the hole where I'm like, all right, I'm at worst trying to get a par here and putting the pressure on him. Like, you have to keep playing.
1,000,000% correct.
I get it, but if he lands a 2 there and Matsuyama lands a 4, you've tied the Masters.
Yes.
That might be the hole to go for.
But if you
hit
get
in
a
the water
3
and you lose it.
Yeah.
If you hit a 3 there and Matsuyama still hits a 4, then you're 1 shot back with 2 holes to go.
I get it. I'm not gonna knock the guy from going for it. I get it. Xander's, it's looked
bad
at as a
business.
bone. Yeah.
I just thought it was a bad business decision.
I get it.
in that situation.
I mean, it literally was.
Probably cost him a lot of money.
It did. To double down on you though, go back to the Masters in November. We got that right too. We hit a bunch of people on the board there, so you're now figuring in. Again, like you said, we'll admit when we're wrong, but we gave you the college football winner real early. You guys both hit who was in the championship game for March Madness. We've won Masters, or money on the Masters, both the Masters.
Didn't you give like a 28-1 underdog to win NASCAR?
I did the one day.
That was solid.
I could get back to doing that. I don't know. I mean, we give pretty good betting advice.
Yeah.
People should maybe start paying attention.
Maybe. Anything else Masters related outside what you're going to get into later?
No. I mean, I don't know if anybody saw it too. Like, I think just to put in perspective how much as players respect that course and what it means to win that. I don't know if anybody saw it. The tradition is if you're in the last group and you're the winning your player wins, the caddy always takes the flag. That's like part of like his prize package, kind of like you keep the flag from 18.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody saw it, but like when Matsuyama's caddy put the pin back in, he actually kind of like bowed to the course.
Yep.
Which was really cool. And he also had Billy Horschel, who like kind of like freaked out on Sunday. I think like took like a chunk of grass up somewhere else or whatever, and he actually like released a formal like apology, like apologizing to Augusta and everything. Like those guys, like anybody will tell you, like they all love the British, the U.S. Open. That is the one they want to win. Like that is the most prestigious. It is. It's just cool when you see like an entire sport that is that much in love with one single place. So again, it's always a special weekend for me. I love it. I'm obviously a huge golfer, but you just can't not like watching the Masters.
It was so interesting. Our dog even watched it.
Your dog was chilling watching that. I saw the picture.
Chris Charlton on the wild line gave a shout out to Zalatoris, who had a great tournament for himself.
That kid,
he secured his spot.
That kid's got a bright future.
Yeah.
He can play. It's funny that he looks like Happy Gilmore's caddy. But
did you see him and Adam Sandler going at it on Twitter?
Yeah.
Chris Cargan, sorry, not Charlton.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of we didn't even mention him. He's kind of the overlooked story of the whole weekend, to be honest. It's only his third one, and I think it was either last year or 2 years ago he was in the top 10 too. I mean the kid can play. He's young.
I'm just happy I ended up hitting on a 48-1 dog. I put $30 on it, and that was a nice payday.
It's a good day.
1440. All right, so let's get into surprises in the MLB. So I want you guys to do me a favor and give me your biggest surprise so far. I'll start. The Red Sox being in first place.
Yeah.
I think they're the fourth best team in that division. I mean, it's 12 games in. I'm not overreacting. I still think they finished fourth in that division, but the Red Sox being in first place to me is the biggest surprise, considering you got Babe Bichette and the Blue Jays. You got the Yankees sitting in last place. You got the Rays, who were in the World Series last year, and then you have Boston, who's got the second worst roster in the division, sitting in first place. What do you think, Cottrell?
I gotta go with my homer pick here. For me, it's the Indians being in first place of the division. I don't think it lasts long, but no. I'm surprised that it started out this way. And the White Sox being fourth in the division, I think, right now, that's definitely surprising to me. The Indians pitching has been better than I was expecting, but like I said, I don't see it lasting long. So for now, I'm going to be happy and be proud that the Indians are in first place.
Bieber with 9 scoreless last night.
Bieber is
throwing
insane.
Lights out.
He's good.
He's got like 35 strikeouts his
first 3 games.
starts. Yep.
Did it last year too.
Yeah. Tied his third for third. He tied for third with himself.
Yep.
Yeah, it's beautiful. What's yours, Bill?
I'm actually torn between the Yankees being last, just because it's the Yankees and I just like to rag on them. But I'll actually say, like, I'm a little bit surprised in the Angels start. I thought they would be in the thick of things this year. I did not think they'd have a 2 or 3 game lead 2 weeks into the season. And they haven't really got great pitching. They're just hitting.
That lineup's deep.
They just lost Rendon, but yeah, I mean, it's, Ohtani. Ohtani is getting a ton of pitches to hit because they put him in front of Trout. But then the problem is, Mike's hitting behind him. So that was a very good move by Madden. Again, it's a team to watch. Like you said, they have a deep lineup. They can hit. If they get decent pitching, I think they'll be there at the end. And then I think Madden's a great coach for them. I really do.
Yeah, I picked the Angels to win the division, so they're not surprising me that much. I think part of the reason I picked the Angels to win the division is because I hate the Astros so much. And, that's like your argument.
Me too.
I hate the Astros.
I'm fine with that.
So the second part I want to talk about with MLB is, what a start to our top 3 outfielders. Even Mookie Betts, let's say our top 4, because Mookie was hurt for a couple games. Our top 4 outfielders have lived up to the billing as the best 4 baseball players in the world.
Is Mookie even back yet?
He is.
Yeah.
He just hit a dinger
home run last night.
So he came back last night. All right.
So you got, Acuna's batting like 430.
Yeah, he's ridiculous right now.
And he's super fast. The guy's out of this world right now. And Soto and Trout are in the high 370s, 80s. Trout's got an OBP over 5.
Yeah.
Come on. This is silly stuff.
It is right now. And again, you have
12 games.
Yeah, it's 12 games, and you still don't have enough at bats where you get big swings. Like if you go 3 for 4, your average is going to go up 70 points.
I get it.
Which is fun. But listen, those 3 again, and include Mookie, 4. They are what we all think they are.
Exactly. Best 4 players in baseball.
Correct. If you take pitchers out of the equation, they're the best 4 players in baseball.
So wait, hold on. That's an interesting comment. So you have pitchers in your top 5, 6, 7, 8?
Definitely the top 10.
Well,
it's
best 4.
It's hard. It's hard because you don't,
can't have a player playing every 5 days.
And that's where you get stuck. Yeah. But then again, you see pitchers get paid what they get paid. Correct. Because their value is there's more really good to elite outfielders than there are elite starting pitchers. And it's tough. It's tough to compare value.
But those 4 are just in a league of their own.
Correct. Your argument really is either Cole or DeGrom. And I don't think I could, with a straight face, say if I was starting a team,
I would take Cole over Soto.
Correct.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. So, So, best 4. They're doing exactly what we thought and hoped they did.
All 4 of them too.
Yeah.
That's impressive to start the season. Normally,
you usually do get 1 or 2.
I'll tell you right now, Acuna's a notorious slow starter.
Trout is not usually this good at the beginning. He's usually okay, and then May or June he'll go.
He's got something to prove. You heard me.
I guess so.
Said I peaked at 28. Watch this.
And then he'll May or June he'll go on a 15 game tear where every time you look at the box score he's got 2 runs to it. Yeah, and then they just start piling up.
You know what the fun thing about those 4 is? They're all excellent fielders. Soto might not be excellent. Soto's probably the 4th out of 4 of those 4 fielders, but they're all really good fielders. Even Soto, he's not a bad fielder. He's just not
Right.
Mookie, Trout, Acuna type fielder.
Mookie's the best, in my opinion. Trout is actually underrated. He gets his offense. People get so
Not by WAR.
No, that's what I'm saying. But like people get so obsessed with his offense, they don't talk about his defense. He's a very good center fielder.
Yeah,
He plays center. So I mean, I think
in a big ballpark.
Yeah,
too.
you got to factor in that those other guys are right and left. So
Mookie, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but Mookie can play center.
Mookie definitely can.
Mookie would have
absolutely.
played center on all those teams in Boston if Jackie Bradley wasn't there.
I mean,
that's how good Jackie Bradley was.
Yeah, Mookie definitely is definitely the best defensive player on that list. I was just saying, center is the hardest position between those three.
Agreed.
So
yeah.
I just think we got to factor that in, especially considering how good Trout has been. Like he's been arguably the second best, of the four, and he's at the hardest position. So
right. No, I agree. I hear what you're saying.
Look, we got a lot of baseball season to go, and we're going to continue talking about it each week. I'm sure that those four will find their way on this discussion board week after week after week because they're the best four players in baseball. And that's why we did the outfielders list last, and I think it had sparked the most conversation. Let's get into our coaches bracket, man.
All right.
I'm really excited about. So we did a fictional coaches bracket for fictional movies, TV shows, and I got to give Bill a ton of credit for this. We've all helped with it, but Bill really put this bracket together, seeded it. So if you have any complaints, you email bill.shallcross. I'm just kidding.
Send them over.
I'm kidding. So today we're going to do the east side, just the first round, east and south. The first round we'll do today, and then next week we'll do the west and southwest. As you can see, if you're watching at home, you can see some of these names. It's hilarious. I have a lot of fun with it. Do you want to I guess we start with the 1-8 then? You start. All right, so the first matchup is Herman Boone, remember the Titans, versus Phil Brickma from Rookie of the Year. You don't know Brickma. Brickman's everybody. I think everybody knows who Herman Boone is. Yeah. But if you don't know Brickman's hilarious. The icy hot. I heat up the ice.
Yeah.
But I think this is a no doubt about it. Who's going to win this matchup? Herman Boone. I mean, you're talking about a great coach. Went in and turned around. Not turned around that Titans team, but got them to play together, and couldn't lose a game. If he lost a game, he'd be fired. So, what's your thoughts on the first matchup? Herman Boone versus Phil Brickman.
Yeah, I mean, I think I went through all these and the criteria to get on the list. Even though Brickman was the pitching coach in that movie, he was the main. And we were talking about before we went on there, the head coach was on but the only time he was really ever on in the movie was when he was mispronouncing Rowan
Gardner.
Yeah. So they kind of had to be the main character. And it had to be somewhat fictional. Now, Herman Boone's a real person. So I was talking to somebody about this earlier, and they were like, well, how do you not have, Herb Brooks, the guy from the Olympic team? This is all fictional. I did a little research on Remember the Titans. They embellished a lot of stuff for that movie, which I did not know. So that's why we kept him on the list. You had to be the main coach in either the show or the movie.
Which I'm still arguing. Because I think Coach Joe should have made the list.
You could have.
He was in the first four out.
He was first four out.
He lost in the play-in game?
Yeah, he's on the NIT.
He's
the one seed in NIT.
He's on the bubble. Joe Lenardi's got him on the bubble. And you had to – that was the second thing. I didn't put two from any movie or show because there was a couple of these that we could have.
Yeah.
So I took the main guy. So before people start freaking out about that so that's what we did. So Herman Boone versus Brickma. Again, Brickma's funny. He was definitely important in that movie. Was a good coach, but Rowan Gardner would I don't know how much he coached him. The kid had a surgically robo arm, and he threw hard, and nobody could hit him. There was no.
Well, let's call a spade a spade. It wasn't even real.
That too.
He woke up from his dream at the end of the movie.
Yeah. So
Herman Boone's coaching football players.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm
kidding.
He didn't teach him how to throw a changeup or anything like that. It was just all for color and laugh. So
just heat up the ice.
Yeah, it's Herman Boone for me.
What do you think, Herman Boone?
Herman Boone. It's not even.
We're not even gonna get an analysis. I need a college control breakdown.
This is the 1-8 matchup. I'm going with the 1 seed. It's like when we were talking about Illinois versus Drexel. Like it's just Herman Boone.
All right, so Bill, why don't you introduce our next matchup?
What is it?
Irv Blitzer, Reggie Dunlap.
Herb Blitzer is the bobsled coach from Cool Runnings.
Okay.
And Reggie Dunlap is the head coach / player from Slapshot. So there's probably
Who's
people.
hilarious, by the way.
Hilarious.
Reggie Dunlap is hilarious.
It's one of the funniest.
Take him
movies.
out.
It's one of the funniest sports movies ever. This is a good one. I go back and forth on this, actually. I'm leaning one way, but I'll let you guys go first.
That's horrible.
And there's probably people that are listening that may have never seen either one of those movies. So
That's fair.
because there's people in the studio that haven't.
I don't know who that is.
Well,
Patrol.
I am one of those people, admittedly so. So between the two guys, I'm going to go with the bobsled guy just because why not? Bobsled's interesting. And
Yeah, I'm gonna make it interesting for Bill.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going with the hockey guy because it's bobsledding.
Okay, fair enough.
I am slightly going Reggie Dunlap, so we're gonna advance him.
So Herman Boone versus Reggie Dunlap. Herman Boone gets basically the Gonzaga bracket. I get it.
So Slapshot will move on.
All right, next one's fun. And I really think that this is a strong 6. Jimmy Dugan versus Nate Scarborough. Bill, break it down for us.
Nate Scarborough, if anybody saw The Longest Yard, is Burt Reynolds. Inmate ends up, kind of being the pseudo coach for the inmate versus guards. Fun fact, he was actually in the original Longest Yard. He was
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Quarterback, right?
Quarterback in
Yep.
the original one, and then ended up being the coach in the second one. They brought him back as kind of like a cool thing. But 3 seed is Jimmy Dugan, A League of Their Own.
Yeah. One of Tom Hanks' funniest roles.
By far, it's one of his favorite roles of actually mine. It's actually very underrated. It doesn't get its due when you talk about all-time classic baseball movies either. It's a great movie.
So crying in baseball?
Dude, there's so many lines in that
Iconic
movie.
quote.
It is
100%.
There's quite a few in there. So that's who you got here. Very, very strong 3-6 matchup. Very strong. For me, I'm going Jimmy Dugan.
Well, Gene, I'm going to leave it up to you. I'm going to go with Nate Scarborough. One, I like the comedy. So the funnier movies are going to have, I'm typically going to have my edge leaning towards that. So we'll go Coach Scarborough.
You're dropping L's right now, brother. You're dropping L's. I'm going Jimmy Dugan.
Fine.
Yeah, listen, you got to throw the high heat. She
Yeah.
can't hit him.
She
She
can't
can't,
hit him.
lay off him.
Yep.
It's very simple. Jimmy Dugan with the win here. Then we got Tony D'Amato versus Coach Nickerson.
This is
Bill's going to break them all down for us.
I didn't do this on purpose, but this is
kidding.
actually like kind of a cool one because it's 2 old school, hard nosed football coaches. You got Tony D'Amato from Any Given Sunday.
Yep.
And then Coach Nickerson from All the Right Moves.
Which, by the way, is an underrated movie.
It is. One of Tom Cruise's first movies. Leah Thompson's in it. Chris Penn. There's a lot of big people in it, actually.
Jeff Perone gave a great comment. I have to at least put it up.
What do you say?
He goes, avoid the clap. Oh, man. Sorry.
The Coach Nickerson one's cool because if you're from around here, like especially like when I grew up, it is a very
What, in the 70s?
No, like relax, like the 90s. But it's a small, very small town, like small Pennsylvania steel coal town that revolves around its football team. And it's a lot of kind of like the teams that were like a CB West team, like Berwick, all those teams that like I grew up playing against or watching that won state every single year. It's a really good movie. He's very hard nosed in your face, almost too hard on the kids sometimes. But then you got Tony D'Amato, Any Given Sunday, dealing with all the egos and all the players.
Dealing with
Sharks, man.
my guy Willie Beeman.
They call me Steamin'.
Stephen Willie Beeman.
Willie Beeman. And the girls.
Yep. Great football movie.
I'll start with this one.
Go
Tony D'Amato. Tony led that team for the right reasons. Stuck with his guy Cap as long as he possibly could. made the move, and when the ownership tried meddling him, he decided I'm gonna start my own franchise. I'm gonna move over to the expansion team and bring my quarterback Willie Beeman. I just signed him. I'll start with that one. Tony D'Amato.
Tony D'Amato too. Bill, we don't care what you got to say because he's moving on.
I was picking Tony D'Amato.
See, it's a win. It's a win. All right, scroll down to the South bracket for me, Mike, because we got Friday Night Lights, and this is also another an argument for me, man, an argument. Friday Night Lights. Eric Taylor's great on Friday Night Lights. Yeah, Friday Night Lights, the movie was awesome too, and I feel like that we should have got a little play on there. A little Permian Panthers, Booby Miles,
Clear Eyes,
full heart, can't lose.
Yeah, I get it. I wanted 2 on here though. That's my point.
And he would have been one of the ones that got it too.
I know
him and Yost.
He's the other one seeing NIT.
Damn it! Can I pick the NIT tournament?
The NIT's lit.
Dude, Booby Miles was amazing, but so we got Eric Taylor versus Harry Hodge. I think this is a pretty easy and quick one.
It's easy, but it's fun because Days of Thunder is one of those. It's like over the top, like corny sometimes.
Okay.
I've seen it no less than 120 times. It's a good, bad movie. And there's so many like one-liners from that. And he's absolutely amazing in that movie. There's people quote that movie all the time, and I swear half the people that are quoting it have never seen the movie. But it's Eric Taylor all day.
Eric Taylor. Sweep.
Yep. Sweep.
Eric Taylor. The next one is...
You need to watch that show, though, before you start putting the movie over the show.
That's fair.
The movie's great. The original book is even better than the movie.
Fair. The next one you put together, I don't know if you did this intentionally or not, but this is hilarious. You have 2 completely inexperienced coaches that took over because their kids got thrown off the better team. Like this is what dreams are made of.
I
this
wish
is
I could
Danny O'Shea from the Little Giants versus Phil Weston from Kicking and Screaming.
I would love to take credit and said I did it on purpose, but I didn't.
I mean, it feels like
you should have lied about it, Bill.
I would have lied about that one.
Pulling the curtain back here for the fans.
Oh,
We're not hiding nothing.
This is 2 inexperienced coaches that took over because their kids didn't get picked on the really good team. However, and I'll start with this one, Danny O'Shea ends up being the better coach. Phil Weston, got way too carried away. He's yelling, making Dick get his coffee. Dick is not happy about that. I'm Danny O'Shea here. Icebox.
I'm also Danny O'Shea.
So am I, and it's for that reason, Icebox for me. I can watch that movie now and laugh.
Shout out to Katie O'Toole.
Katie O'Toole all day.
Icebox.
It's that, and then it's even better. Ed O'Neill played like the cocky, like scummy older brother to perfection, and they were the Cowboys. So it made it even better when they lost.
Facts. Are you spitting facts right now? He's
all day.
spitting facts.
So it's definitely Little Giants and Icebox for me.
Icebox, Little Giants. Got it. Now, next one's another easy one to me. Now, everyone has their own breakdowns, but Jimmy McGinty from the Replacements versus Bud Kilmer from Varsity Blues. Bud Kilmer was a terrible coach. He was an awful coach. I mean, they won a lot of state. They won state a ton. But, I mean, he didn't care about his kids. He's trying to get them injured. Where Jimmy McGinty came in and took a bunch of replacements and beat a team that had everybody come back. Martell came back. Everybody came back. And Sugar Shane Falco.
The legend.
Footsteps Falco.
The legend.
Listen, Footsteps Falco brought it home. And listen, I can't argue against a guy that took scab players, replacement players, and beat a pro football team. I'm going Jimmy McGinty.
I'm also going Jimmy McGinty. I'm picking up what you're putting down, and I agree 100%.
I'm voting McGinty. I think it's a little closer than you guys would like to give it credit for. Kilmer was just a no-nonsense, I need W's and trophies coach.
I agree. I mean, I think it's close, too, and I agree with what you just said, too. But Jimmy McGinty, he was the better coach for sure, so.
Listen, Bud Kilmer would still be at West Canaan High if it wasn't for John Moxon blowing up the whole system.
Hey, listen, you can't be trying to throw people out there when they're not. It's just
you got to happy juice them up and put them on the field, man.
The next one is another really easy one for me. I'm from Philadelphia.
I mean, it's just kind of easy in general.
Mickey Goldmill versus Romeo Passar.
Romeo Prasar is Kevin Costner's caddy from Tin Cup. In
Get
case
it.
anybody doesn't know. And then Mickey is obviously Rocky's trainer from Rocky.
What are we waiting for?
I mean, it's Mickey for me. I mean, you can make an argument because Rocky did lose a lot, but
Whoa.
Tin Cup never won. So, I mean, it's Mickey for me.
I'm gonna go with Mickey too.
The Mick.
But it's funny that you said Rocky did lose a lot, so you
Yeah.
could argue like
People always forget that. Like, as you get further along the series, they put his record up.
I
He's
know.
Like, oh, he's like 38-14. I'm like, he stinks.
you could argue he won more after he died.
Jesus.
Wow.
All right.
That was a little much.
There it is.
Cottrell took it a little bit further.
I'm just
Cottrell,
saying.
that's right up there with your
Alex Smith hate?
Alex Smith, dude. Just in
Look,
case anybody's wondering who the cold-hearted person is on the show.
If you want real,
I thought I would have won
you
that.
come over here.
Or me, not Cottrell, but he's. You're like 10 under, and me and Gene are struggling to make the cut right now, bud.
The Mick,
Good
bro.
Lord.
It's the Mick.
Dude died.
Yeah, and the guy
Died
took
for Rocky.
took a random Italian kid from the streets, didn't know crap about boxing.
Died for Rocky, and Cottrell's like, he's better when he died.
Jesus, Cottrell. You're hurting people out there. And listen, you realize that we live in, you live in the outskirts of Philadelphia. We live in Philadelphia.
Listen,
You can't be saying that walking the streets, man.
yeah,
That's
I
fine.
say you say something bad about Rocky in the wrong
Especially
street.
It's not
South
about
Philly,
Rocky.
you
It's just
beat up
Mickey.
around here.
No one cares about Mickey.
Yeah,
I
whoa.
just say Rocky's the
bro.
GOAT.
Whoa.
See?
No one cares about Mickey?
Around here, Rocky's the. You don't see.
Oh.
I'm just waiting. You're gonna get lots of Mickey hate.
Listen,
bro.
all right.
guys, his
All right.
email is Cottrell.
Hey, you point me to the Mickey statue in Philadelphia, and I'll meet you guys there. That's how much.
What are we waiting for? That was a great scene. Adrian wakes up.
Poor Cottrell.
I want you to win. We're going to go over next week's we're going to go over the Midwest and the West brackets next week, which we got some more awesome names on there. And then the following week, we'll basically break it down, get to the Final Four, and then we'll have a really good debate on the Final Four.
will be fun.
The Midwest bracket, I think, is the toughest one.
Oh, my God.
If
And
I
I wanted to think-
if I remember looking at it after I did it, like I was like, that's the most contentious, if I remember correctly.
Tim Todd's already looking for you. He
What'd
said,
he say?
who brought this dude? Listen, the Midwest. By the way, this is hilarious. But Bill did such a good job on this. Most of the people in the Midwest were from Midwestern schools. Like he did it, like seeded it. Like, man, I got to give him all the credit in the world, Bill. Awesome
Yeah.
job.
He's seated like they're about to fly out and face each other.
Yeah,
Great job.
neutral sites.
We're not. They both have home court advantage. Both of them.
They would.
All right, so
That 1-2 matchup's going to be.
we're going to continue this each week. We don't want to keep it too long because I know a lot of you guys are here listening to sports. But I'd like to have some fun in the middle of the show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our coaches bracket. Give us your opinions. And listen, we're going to start taking comments on the wire line. Keep commenting on there. We'll start posting them up. I want your opinions on who should win, who you excited to see in the bracket, and your thoughts. So keep them coming. We got a lot to get into, though. NBA. First, I just wanted to take a second to, wish my condolences to the Denver Nuggets and their season. Jamal Murray, seriously, that
brutal.
team was rolling, and
They were going to be a problem in the playoffs.
I agree 100%. They would have been very fun to watch. But got to wish my condolences to Denver Nuggets season as they lost their second best player, Jamal Murray, to a torn ACL. Speedy recovery. But their season is over.
They got some time to figure it out. I think a drop off. I forget the kid's name who's the backup. I mean, it's like jumping off a cliff between Murray and him, and it's gonna be tough.
I will say though, I think that they're gonna. I just saw that the Pelicans aren't gonna re-sign Isaiah Thomas. I think that's a name to watch out for. Obviously, he's not gonna have the same production as Jamal Murray, but he's been in Denver before. He knows the system. He knows the guys in that locker room. I think that can be like a. It's not gonna be a seamless replacement, but I think that's a guy who can come in and sort of fill that void, and especially, and I don't think it's going to be any chemistry issues because it's a guy that they are familiar with.
They're looking for the best possible Band-Aid for a bullet hole right now.
Agreed.
But that's unfortunately that's what it is. I mean, I saw a stat last night which was crazy to me. Between point guards and centers, Jamal Murray and Jokic had the 2 most assists between the 2 of them, more than anybody in the NBA, and that's like by like 100.
Oh, wow.
Like crazy. Like
That's I mean, that partially is because Joker's like such an amazing passer.
It is, and that's why they run their offense. But just to put into perspective how important Murray is to that offense and the way they run it with him and Jokic, it's a monumental loss for that team. And I do feel bad because, like I said, last year when they played the Lakers, they were probably a player away. They go out and get Aaron Gordon, which was a great trade. And they traded for him. I think they were 7-0 right out of the bat before Murray got hurt. Murray was out the last 4 games. I don't know if that plays into it that they brought him back too early. I don't know, but I mean, you watch the injury, and if you watch it, you knew right away what it was. So that's gonna suck. I mean, they were definitely one of the 3 or 4 favorites to come out of the West.
Part that made it worse for me was that it was not. I'm not saying this isn't a knock on their coach at all, because Mike Malone, 100%, Jamal Murray should have still been in the game, but they were down 7, and it was just like it was an injury that didn't need to happen. I get it, Murray was playing hard and everything, but I hated to see that happen on a play that essentially wasn't going to decide the game.
It's crazy though. Like, again, it's one of those things too. Like, it was really like non-contact. Like, it was just driving.
Well, that's most ACL. Though.
Yeah, and I was driving down the lane, and that thing gave out. It was tough to watch. Good young player, man. So I mean, it's going to affect him next year too. I mean, because his rehab's going to run into next year now.
Yeah, he's not going to play until at least January.
Yeah, so I mean.
At least.
Hope his rehab goes smooth. I like him. I like watching him play. I love him on that team. I like Denver. So,
me too. You're just high on all Denver sports.
No, I like. Listen, I'll tell you what it is. Like,
he's moving to Denver.
Denver's a great city. I would move to Denver.
See,
if you follow Bill, you see how many houses this kid shares on Facebook. It's hilarious.
True. I can't afford any of them.
Hopefully, if you share and download all our episodes, we can. Thank you.
like the moving like to the bathroom or one of them maybe. They're on all the time, like when I get home. So like if I'm up like late, like after watching a Sixers game or something, like I'll watch Denver, I'll watch Golden State. So it's Phoenix. Like I follow all those teams. It's always the late games because I don't watch anybody else when the Sixers are on. So
100%, I'm with you. I watch a lot of basketball.
Yeah,
and the Nuggets are a fun team to watch.
Yeah,
and they're probably one of the best half-court offenses in the league.
They're so smooth. It's fun to watch.
So, with that being said, they won't be the 1 seed in the West. What teams do you think will be the 1 seeds in each bracket? Now, see, first of all, before we get into this, and I'm going to ask you guys in a second, but we had this show set up perfectly. Who's going to be the 1 seed in the East? Who's going to be the 1 seed in the West? The 1 seed and the 2 seed are playing each other tonight. The 76ers and the Nets, and the Nets pulled their bullshit, and everyone's going to sit. We're all going to sit because we're nuts. We don't care, and they're a bunch of crazy people over there. I really, Brooklyn versus the field. I'll root for Boston over Brooklyn. I hate Boston. I hate Brooklyn. But let's continue. Who's the 1 seed in each the East and the West?
I mean, are we giving us both, or are we just going to go East and then go West?
No, let's get both. There's only 2 teams.
All right.
I'll go. For me, the one in the East is definitely going to be the Sixers. I think it's clear that the Nets don't care about the 1 seed, especially with Kyrie missing all these games for his personal reason. James Harden is still hurt, and then Kevin Durant is obviously still on his injury management, as they call it. So I think that the Sixers are playing well, and barring any injuries to anybody on that team, I think the Sixers are going to be the Eastern Conference 1 seed. Over in the West, I do think it's still going to be the Jazz. They have been struggling a little bit lately, but I feel like the Jazz are essentially they're the try-hard team in the Western Conference, and
their last year's Milwaukee.
Phoenix is fighting them for it, and they're really close. But I just see the Jazz edging out and getting that 1 seed.
I actually agree with him. So I think it's important for the Sixers to get the 1. I don't care what anybody says.
100%.
If it goes to 7 games, I would want that game at Wells Fargo.
Especially with the Sixers, like not necessarily this year, but their home road splits over the last 3 years. I mean, they're a much better home team. They were a worst road playoff team last year.
Yeah, and they're one of the best home teams in all of the NBA.
Yep.
It's going to matter.
Second this year, first last year.
I don't know if Brooklyn's being too cavalier with how confident they are. It could come back to bite them.
I hope it does.
My biggest thing is, too, I don't want to play Milwaukee in the semis if I don't have to.
Agreed again.
So I'd rather Brooklyn go through them. I think Brooklyn's going to go through them. But
Would
again,
you rather play Miami, though?
Yeah, because I think it's a lower scoring series. I just think we're better than Miami. And they have no answer for JoJo.
Who doesn't?
Miami.
I mean, I agree with that, but I think
I don't think any team has an answer for JoJo.
Joel is going to struggle more with Bam than he does with Milwaukee center.
Brook Lopez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I don't know what I'd rather see. I think I'd rather see Miami because I feel like they're on the downslide this year as far as where like each one of those players aren't playing as good as they've been. Victor Oladipo's hurt. Jimmy Butler wasn't playing as good as he played last year. Tyler Hero's not playing as good as he played last year. Duncan Robinson's not playing as good as he played last year.
Jimmy, the last 2 weeks is kind of starting to look like Jimmy. But everybody else, you're spot on. Goran's kind of been banged up all year. I'll take Miami or Milwaukee. Listen, I know we match up real well with Milwaukee, and we usually don't have problems with them.
I think that you guys match up so well with them. I think for you guys at least, I think that Milwaukee would be the easier team to beat just because Jimmy Butler is a guy that I don't want to see in the playoffs. Jimmy Butler is just he's that guy that can take his team to another level, and Giannis
Jimmy
can
Butler
be that
struggles
guy.
versus the Sixers, bro.
Jimmy's going to get the Ben treatment. So.
Jimmy struggles versus Ben.
I get you.
Struggles.
I trust Jimmy in the playoffs more than I trust Giannis.
That's fair. That's a fair.
That is fair, but it's also I don't want to deal.
I trust the pieces around Giannis more than I trust.
Correct,
the pieces around
and I don't want to deal with Giannis's 30 every night, and then have to deal with Middleton and Holiday. That's where I'm at with that. It's more important the Sixers, and again, I mean it's Brooklyn is very. I would say I think they're overconfident. I think they've only played 7 games with all 3 of them on the court.
Something small like that.
Yeah. So, and listen, they got to get healthy too. I mean, let's not act like Kevin's not kind of fragile. Harden gets banged up. Kyrie, who knows, man? Kyrie could watch Discovery Channel and take Game 6 off because he doesn't like what he sees. Like they're crazy, dude. Bro. So,
that's a transition if I've never ever heard one,
dude. It is. Here's I
gotta get my one, but real quick, Ed.
Yeah, I just don't get. And it's one thing I will actually give LeBron credit for. The dude's 36, and if he's not hurt, he plays every game. These guys are taking off because they just don't.
They don't feel like playing.
They don't feel like playing. It's crazy.
And it's like I've never seen an organization just allow everyone just to run that team. Like the players just completely run.
Well,
that
they
team.
are, and I actually feel bad for Nash. Like depending on what happens
100%.
in the end, he might end up getting a ring out of this. But
if he doesn't, he's definitely on the hot seat though.
Right, but
it's not his fault.
Of course not.
He has no
not.
say in anything that's going on. None. He is literally just he's just a piece. He's just a figurehead right now. Yeah. They do whatever they want. I mean, you saw it with the Kyrie thing originally.
They're not running. If you watch them play, they're not running any type of plays, rotations. It's just let's ISO our better players than on your better.
But
players.
you saw it the first time with Kyrie when Kyrie's I'm taking a week and a half off, and they were interviewing Nash, and Brooklyn wasn't even smart enough. At the same time, they're interviewing Nash, and Nash is I haven't talked to him. I don't know what's going on. The front office is putting out a release saying oh, he's going to miss the next 3 games because of blah blah blah. He's not he didn't even tell him he didn't have the respect enough to call Nash and be hey, I'm taking 3 days off. They're going to live and die by the 3 of them. And again, it's going to be a matter if somebody can put them in deep water and make them struggle and then put them in some kind of adversity, then it gets fun because then I want to see what happens.
I want to watch them crumble so bad. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I want to watch them crumble so bad. Real quick, let me get my ones. You have the same ones, right?
I still have Utah. I think it'll probably come down to the last couple of games between Utah and Phoenix. The Clippers are going to rest people, and the Lakers
they're in no rush to get everybody
they're
back.
Not. So I mean they're just. I think it's crazy that could end up being the 4 or 5, which is wild.
I think Utah will continue to slide a little bit. I think that you watched them peak at the beginning of the season with their opening 20, 25, 30 games. I think Phoenix is a try-hard team, but I think the team that finishes number 1 seed in the West is the LA Clippers. And you might be right. They might rest people, but they have depth on that team. You can rest Kawhi Leonard one night, and you're still throwing out PG, Pat Bev, playoff Rondo.
Well, like tonight's a perfect example. They got them both sitting tonight.
But to me, it's okay. I think the Clippers are super deep. And
They're losing the Pistons.
what's the score?
They're down 4.
When?
Fourth quarter's about to start.
They'll still win.
They probably will, but I'm just saying, that's a game, like, if they do lose tonight, like, that's a game that could,
You look at, yeah.
in some point, like, haunt them. Like, oh, you missed out the 1 seed by 1 game. It'll be something like that.
It's crazy how they don't fear going to Phoenix or Utah at all.
I wouldn't either.
Utah's different, man. It's elevation.
Okay.
Utah is a tough place to play, especially when you're not a team that plays at elevation. Like Denver, Utah was amazing because they both play at elevation. But, it's not a good place to play. I wouldn't want to have to go to Utah 4 out of 7 games.
They play really well there. I mean,
Utah plays very well now.
Yeah, I mean, it's
My whole thing is that I don't think you'd have to play 4 games there. I think you play 2 and.
You think they sweep them?
I guess you play 3. You play 3 there and you win 2 out of 3.
They're going to win 2 out of 3 at Utah.
I think the Clippers or the Lakers are going to win that series in 5.
I'll take that. I'll take the over in that.
yeah, me too.
I'll take
You
the
guys,
over in
you
that.
guys love the Jazz. I'm telling you. I
It's not like I love the Jazz. They play really good. They're coached really well, and they're good enough to take a couple games.
Disagree. I think this is literally
That sounds
this
like a
is
show
literally
bet.
the Atlanta Hawks all over again.
Oh, stop it.
Literally
This is
all
not-
over again.
This is not. They're way better than that
than
Atlanta Hawks
dude.
team.
Stop it.
Smoke and mirrors.
Way better than that Atlanta Hawks
Jesus.
team.
They go out and shoot hot, dude. They'll beat anybody.
Quinn Snyder's a better coach than what Mike Budenholzer is, but they're smoke and mirrors.
They're deeper too.
They're smoke and mirrors.
Okay. Katie, Kyrie, you brought that up. I was trying to get Kevin to respond to me yesterday on Twitter. I think everybody should just message him on like literally at him on Twitter because he is the most sensitive superstar ever. He's such a great player, and the thing with him and Michael Rappaport, the thing with him and Shannon Sharp, he cares so much about what people say. And the Shannon Sharp thing, I get it, bro. He was misquoted, not misquoted. He didn't say it, and Shannon Sharp read out a false quote that he got tricked into reading. I get it. I understand Kevin responding to that. Then Shannon Sharp tries to message him hey man, we can handle this all outside social media. And I thought it was funny what Kevin did. No, you want to talk about me on the show, but you want to handle it privately. I get that, but Kevin is so sensitive, and Kyrie is crazy.
Kyrie is a Looney Tune.
Nut.
Man.
He's nuts.
He's a different he's just a different person.
Kyrie is a lunatic, and Kevin Durant is the most we brought this up. We were talking about it in our group chat. Kachar, I want to hear your opinion on this because maybe I'm nuts. Why do we not talk more about the fact that Kevin Durant had known burner accounts defending himself online?
I have no clue.
Why did he get a pass for that?
I have no clue why we don't talk about that more. I mean,
it happened at
it was
the
because
right time for him.
And then he started winning. He won the 2 rings in Golden State, and then he won Finals MVP. So they're like, oh well, he's the best player in the world essentially. He's not. He's he gets a pass for it. But I'm saying coming off of 2 Finals MVPs, there was definitely talks of him being best player in the world.
Yeah, and those people were wrong.
I mean, I agree with you, but I'm just saying that was definitely
that time that you could have made that
conversation.
You made an argument because he's winning with a team that won 70 games the prior year.
Yeah, understood. I'm not going to argue against you, but I'm just saying what we were hearing when he was the best player on that team. He was the best player on the team that had a unanimous MVP that won back-to-back years. So people were making the argument that he was best player in the league, and so I think that a lot of that is what brushed the whole burner account under the rug. With that said, though, KD is definitely soft. With Kyrie, though, I just want to bring this up really quick. The fact that we thought at a time that he could potentially retire, based on what he was doing, what he was saying, him being away from the team and all things like that. I'm almost wondering, was it one of his like incentives, or like did he talk to the Nets like, hey, from time to time I may need to take my personal days, if you guys want me to play basketball at a high level. Like, I wonder, was there ever a conversation about something like that? Because it seems like the Nets are just okay with it. It's not like they're
what is their
What
choice?
are you gonna do?
Yeah, what is their choice?
But a talent like that, and Kevin Durant's one of his best friends.
But I understand that, but at the same time, like, if you want to get him under control, like, hey, you want to take your days off, we're not going to pay you, or like, you come out with that, we're suspend you for a game, like,
You can't do
we
that.
won't pay you.
You can't do that though.
Then nobody goes there. Everyone leaves.
Well,
Go somewhere else.
He's under contract though.
Yeah, but that's such
He'll retire.
It's such a huge gray area. I'm
No,
pretty
no,
sure in the bargaining you can't just be like if all he has to be is like, my knee hurts, and then there's nothing they can do.
Yeah, but it keeps coming out. It's personal reason. I'm like, if they somehow get ahead of that, or say something about it, like, hey, we miss Kyrie, and we just feel like, he's being not even being selfish, like not throwing him under the bus, but just bringing it up.
On the face of your argument, I 100% agree with you.
Same.
Brooklyn's been a dumpster fire for 30 years.
Same.
Like, they're and you've brand new owners there, and they've walked into this situation where you have Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving your team. You're the odds-on favorite to win the finals. They are not rocking that boat.
Nope.
They're not.
I
If they go to the finals, or if they don't lose or something, and all this stuff happens behind the scenes, then you might see something happen. But as of right now, with the way it's going, they are not. They're like, you don't want to play tonight? Cool. Like, that's fine. Like, that's just what they're going to do. Like, they are holding that team hostage.
I've never seen something like this.
The other thing that I don't understand either is that, like you said, KD and Kyrie are best friends off the court. Why isn't someone else holding Kyrie accountable? Like, you're going out here and like Kevin Durant, he's supposed to be the leader of this team, and
they're friends. Kevin Durant's gonna have his back fully.
I understand that, but if you're trying to win a championship, you gotta tell Kyrie, hey, we gotta have you on the court. We gotta get this chemistry going. Like, we need to. We just brought in Blake. We just brought in LaMarcus Aldridge. We gotta figure out some chemistry between all of us on the court, so that when it's in the playoffs, we can just roll through those guys and get another ring.
I would tell you it's because he hasn't done anything yet to potentially affect that outcome. I think if he was doing stupid stuff and like everybody was playing,
going to Vegas, and he was on his Dennis Rodman.
Like, we have no idea what the hell.
He's worse than Rodman, bro.
We have no idea what the hell he's doing.
This dude's crazier than Rodman. I never thought I'd see today. He's not smart either. He's a flat earther.
He went to Duke.
Yeah, so what?
Oh, stop.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think Duke is finally. It's just like, I don't care. You're worst classic university except for basketball. Come here, dude. He's so bad for the NBA because he might actually he's so bad for the NBA he might actually be good, because I hate the Nets so bad that I want to watch them lose so bad. Seriously,
I'm with you.
I hate them either. Like, dude, can you imagine being, especially when fans start showing back on stands? Can you imagine spending money to go see Brooklyn, Philadelphia for the 1 seed in Philadelphia tonight, and this shit happens?
Well, I think.
Come on, man.
The upsetting part of that is, like I said, they were originally supposed to play Monday. So if they would have played Monday and had yesterday off, you would have got Durant and Kyrie tonight. I think the annoying part is they're playing Minnesota, which is a non-conference game, which means nothing. And even without Kevin Durant playing, they probably win that game by 10 or 15 comfortably. They could have sat Durant yesterday. That game got postponed from Monday to Tuesday because of the shooting. They could have sat Durant yesterday to make sure he played tonight. And they didn't. They chose to play him against the freaking Timberwolves, who didn't have their best player. He scored 30 in like 27 minutes, and they sat him, and they won by 30. What is the point of that? Like, they deliberately did not play him tonight. And again, that could be like a mind games thing, or again, it's whatever. But that is one of the reasons, as especially from owners and fans, you're starting to hear grumblings because, like you said, they flipped this to the national game tonight, and now all of a sudden you have a full-fledged Sixers team. You can't do anything with James Harden; he's hurt. Blake Griffin's not playing for no reason.
Yeah,
like, how does that do?
Marcus Aldridge is sickness, non-COVID.
Yeah, how does Blake Griffin need rest? He's played 30 games in the last 3 years. How does that dude not rest it?
He hasn't dunked since he was in Brooklyn. Now he's dunking.
Yeah, how can he?
I can jump again.
How does he not? How does he need rest?
Softest team in the league, dude. I can't. I want them to lose so bad. And my buddy Mr. Brister on the wire line said the true comedy is Katie's tweet of the screenshot, him being blocked by Shannon, and quoted it, "But I'm sensitive." Like, he really believes someone's blocking him makes him more sensitive than him.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this before. If you want to be on Twitter and you want to get engaged with fans or people that are, talking smack or whatever, that's fine. You're Kevin Durant, like, you have a verified account. Like, if you get into any kind of, like, beef on Twitter or argument and you roll into a conversation with the blue check mark, like, there's a lot of people that are not going to want to go back and forth with you, but you can at least stand up and as yourself and get your point across. Correct. Why are you going on burner accounts to stand up for yourself with internet trolls? That's as soft as it gets. The fact that a guy who makes $40 million cares that much enough to have 4 Twitter accounts linked to his phone to stand up for himself in random, like, NBA threads on Twitter,
oh my God,
is the softest thing I've ever heard.
Did you see his comment where he busted on a fan because they agreed with Shannon Sharp? He's like, you calling somebody unk on TV is kind of suspect to begin with, just because he's on TV. Like he is so sensitive, bro. Like, I can't take him, bro. I cannot take that team.
And it's for me too. It's like, so Damian Lillard is a guy that I follow on Twitter, and whenever, I'm not going to say he responds to every fan, but, like, good or bad, Damian Lillard is going to respond to certain fans. So if somebody's like, hey, what's going on? Like, you lost me this parlay. You didn't drop 30. He's like, well, I'm playing with CJ. CJ was going off tonight. Like, he'll defend himself against fans. Like, and he doesn't have to hide it from anybody. The thing is, like, you're Kevin Durant. If you don't agree with somebody's point, just say it from your own account, and we'll go from there.
You're freaking Kevin
we don't
Durant. That's what I mean. Like,
you have your own opinion. It's all good.
I'd still rather have him than Kyrie.
I'll take Kevin Durant or Kyrie all day.
As a player?
Yeah,
of course.
Kyrie's just too much for me. I'm done with this. I gotta move on.
Kyrie is. It's annoying to not have him on the court for these personal reasons, but if there's an understanding that we don't know about in the public, then I'm okay with that. Flat Earth is crazy, though. Flat Earth is insane. But outside of that, though, Kyrie is not a big issue.
I'll take Durant. I mean,
this year, besides missing personal reasons,
Kyrie was smart enough.
Besides him just not showing up.
I'm saying,
for a week.
But I preface that with that if there's an understanding in the back all, like something that we don't know about.
There isn't.
There might be. I don't disagree with him. I just think that, he's the only player in the NBA that has that understanding that he can just, hey, it's Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely not.
Kyrie was dumb enough to think that he was better off without playing next to LeBron James. I don't want that guy anywhere near my locker room.
Yeah.
and
not a fan.
End of discussion for me.
Okay, so we got a lot to go over the NFL draft. I want to move on. I'm done with Kyrie.
My favorite topic.
Kyrie and Kevin Durant. All right, so what we did was it's like a 3-part series, but we're going to start with the first. We're going to do our top 5 players at running back, wide receiver / tight end, and offensive line coming out of this 2021 NFL draft.
It's really just wide receivers and where you want to put Kyle Pitts.
That's fair. It's fair. But we did it / tight ends for a reason. We want to start running backs?
That's fine.
Start running backs?
That's fine.
Okay. Control, I haven't heard your voice enough tonight.
Okay.
I feel like the mic is yours.
All right. So should I go 5 to 1? Is that how we're going to do this?
Yeah, we'll go 5. We'll go around and work our way up. I think a lot of these lists are probably going to be similar. So.
All right. So for my skill position guys, running backs, and then the receivers and tight ends, I got my players, and I also have player comps for them. So.
Oh wow, he went above and beyond.
I did. So number 5, I'm gonna go with Chuba Hubbard from Oklahoma State. That's a guy who he doesn't have blazing speed, but if he gets out in open field, you're not gonna catch him. He's very shifty. He does have a little bit of power. He actually reminds me of Dalvin Cook coming out of Florida State, but with less power. He's not gonna break the tackles like Dalvin Cook did, but his one cuts and things like that. I saw a lot of Dalvin Cook on film.
Dalvin runs bigger than he is, though.
He does.
Like I think the thing.
That's why I said less power. He's not.
A lot of people. Yeah, I think a lot of people expect Dalvin to almost run away from contact, and he actually likes it.
He does.
He's so good. Are you going all the way through yours?
Yeah, 5, 4, 5, 4, 3.
You need to go all the way through?
Yes.
All right.
So,
5 through 1 at running
all right.
backs.
My 4, I got Trey Sermon out of Ohio State. I always saw the potential in him while he was at Oklahoma. At first, when he came to Ohio State, didn't really look like it was going to work out. But then the last few games, he was just going crazy. So I see a lot of potential in him. And I think he could even have I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Josh Jacobs, but I think it could be a similar situation where people aren't high on him coming out, and then he goes to a team and he's their starting running back.
I mean, people were high on Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, but like if you remember, Josh Jacobs wasn't even Bama's like legit number 1 back. You know what I mean? Like he was, but at the same time, he wasn't like how Najee is or Derrick Henry and all these other Bama backs.
I guess Josh Jacobs was like everybody knew he was going to be good though.
So your Trey Sermon comparison, Josh Jacobs.
Nope, Kareem Hunt.
Okay.
Travis Etienne from Clemson is my 3. Very shifty, good pass catcher out the backfield. This one was tough for a player comparison. I think he closest resembles Alvin Kamara. He's not going to be as explosive in the pass game, but
or as strong.
He's not going to be as explosive in the pass game. I think Travis Etienne's very strong, though. He's going to be my 3.
I agree with like the way he's going to be used, though. I think is very similar. I mean, you kind of said something that before he even got here.
Yeah, poor man's McCaffrey.
Yeah, but
I mean,
now that he said that, I actually think he's close to the
same
player.
player.
Yeah.
My 2 is going to be Javonte Williams from UNC. Powerful back, smart, patient. My comparison for him will be Nick Chubb. And then my number 1 back is Najee Harris coming out of Bama. It's kind of lazy, but I think this is the best comparison for him. Be Derrick Henry.
It's not lazy. It's a very good comparison.
No, he's just
same school. I mean, it's
he just is what he is. I mean,
that's not lazy. That's just
not.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, he's that kind of back. I would say I think he's a little bit smaller than Henry, and I think he might be a little bit faster, but I think that's spot on.
Okay, so Bill, give me your 5 running backs.
I have Michael Carter from UNC at 5. He's a little bit smaller than Williams, a little bit faster. I don't know how.
By the way, Dante on East Coast, get on. Absolutely correct. Josh Jacobs runs the ball a lot, doesn't make him good. Continue. Sorry.
Josh Jacobs is good. All right.
Yeah,
he's
all
good.
right.
Michael Carter, he's a smaller too from UNC, a little bit faster. Just don't know exactly how well he's going to translate to the NFL. But the kid's super athletic,
explosive, very
explosive. He's a guy like if he hits the hole and doesn't get hit and gets to the second level and you don't have an arm on him, you probably have a problem.
Yep.
4, I actually have Trey Sermon from Ohio State too. I don't know if anybody, did better for themselves stock-wise over the last 3 or 4 weeks of a year than Trey Sermon did. To kind of echo what Cottrell said, coming from Oklahoma, everybody knew he had the talent. And then
he showed it.
He did, and he got his opportunity, and he took it and ran with it. Went nuts. So, I think he's a chance to be a very solid NFL running back. I don't know if he's ever going to be all-pro or anything like that, but I think he's very serviceable and very good. I also have Etienne at 3. I dropped him down from 2 to 3. Again, I think he's got to go to a system that's a little bit more pass-happy than he's not going to make a huge living in the NFL running between the tackles. He's just not that guy. I think Alvin Kamara is spot on. I really do. When you said that clicked for me.
Well, if he's Alvin Kamara, then he's better than 3.
I don't think he has. To what you said, I don't think he's as strong. I don't know if he's quite as athletic.
But with my list, though, I got Derrick Henry comp and then a Nick Chubb comp ahead of him.
Agreed. So, and my top 2 are the same as him. I have Javonte Williams at 2, and I have Najee Harris at 1. I don't know if, I keep seeing mock draft after mock draft, and the one person who hasn't changed is Najee Harris going to Pittsburgh. And I just don't know if there's a better, marriage of a player.
Oh, my God, you're absolutely correct.
A marriage of a player, skill set, and going to a team that wants to run the ball and fits his personality. I hate the Steelers. I will love Najee Harris going there, though. I think that is a great pick for them, and I think he will succeed very well there.
We're about to have some fun here, Cottrell. I just want you to do me a favor. I don't want you to read the 5 running backs yet again. I just want you to read the 5 NFL comps that you gave for the top 5 running backs this year.
Dalvin Cook, Les Power, Kareem Hunt, Alvin Kamara, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry.
Okay, so I need you to understand how wild those comparisons are. You're saying the top 5 running backs that are coming out of this draft could potentially be the top 5 running backs.
That's not what I said.
Entire. I get it, but my point is the NFL comparisons that you're giving are like superstar running backs. I don't agree with that.
But I'm talking about coming out of school though. Coming out of school.
Okay, that's fair. I have Michael Carter 5, and I don't know why. Michael Carter, he's very explosive, fast, but I don't know if he cracks the top 5. I think he needs to be in a thunder and lightning type system. I think he needs to be a change of pace, 3rd down back. I don't think he'll be an every down back in the NFL, but he's my 5th running back coming out this year. I have Trey Sermon 4 because I feel like he can be a bell cow. I feel like Trey Sermon did a lot for himself, and he showed that he could be a bell cow, getting the ball 25, 30 times a game, running between the tackles. He needs the right fit, though. He can't play in a West Coast type scheme, in my opinion. I have Javonte Williams 3. Once again, he can run between the tackles, strong. Like, that's a back you can feed the ball to 20, 25 times a game. And I think he's the better UNC back. Dante on the wire line was saying that he actually likes Michael Carter better than Javonte Williams. I think all 3 of us disagree with you on that one. But hey, man, you watch a lot of college football. I can understand that. My second is Travis Etienne. He's very NFL ready. He's the passing NFL's running back. He's the J.K. Dobbins type this year. Travis Etienne can catch the ball. He can run on the outside. He's not going to beat you up too much in between the tackles, but he is athletic. He can catch the football out of the backfield, and I feel like that Travis Etienne in the right system, and to me, the right style of system would be, man, I feel like it's got to be like a southern, like not a cold weather team. I think like Atlanta, but they don't pick there, maybe in the 2nd round. Like, I feel like Travis Etienne can fit a passing system in which he can run on turf and run like the Alvin Kamara, like New Orleans. I understand the thought process there. He's a poor man's Christian McCaffrey, in my opinion.
I think we all agree with that, but you literally compare him to a guy that plays in a cold weather climate that runs between the tackles.
Who?
J.K. Dobbins.
The J.K. Dobbins of this draft, essentially a guy that you got drafted by Baltimore, but I feel like the J.K. Dobbins could be in a better situation, in my opinion.
I don't know, man. I mean, he was impressive last year.
He was.
I'm not saying he couldn't be better somewhere else. But that dude walked into camp. I mean, they cut Mark.
He also
Ingram.
came from Ohio State.
He did, but they got rid of Mark Ingram. Like, he just took the job. I mean, I agree with you. Like, I think somebody's going to take him in the 2nd round because I remember when he got drafted. And again, this kind of goes back to like Najee in Pittsburgh. Like when Baltimore took him, I'm like, he's going to be awesome there. Like that is a perfect place for him to go. I'm 100% with you on that. I don't think they're the same type of player though. If you're going with getting picked in the 2nd round for a guy who's going to start and probably play 80% of the downs next year, I think they're comparable that way.
I don't will play about 65%.
I don't think they're the same kind of running back though.
They're very similar. That's fair.
Okay, I disagree.
I have Najee Harris 1. I think he's the best running back in this class, and I don't think it's that close. Dante also asked, no one has Kenneth Gainwell from Memphis. No, I need to see a little bit more from Kenneth Gainwell. Listen, Memphis is not playing world-class defensive lines.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. Yep. I think he's a good athlete. I just don't think like you have no idea what he's going to be when he starts playing against guys that can run as fast as him and tackle. Like look what happened the last time we put a Memphis player in the 1st round.
Well, you're Chubba. I love calling him Chubba Hubbard. It just sounds better. Your Chubba Hubbard pick at 5. He's ranked 13th out of running backs coming out this year. I think that he's like 6 or 7 for me. So I think that's a really good. Like I wish I could put him in my top 5 so we can kind of talk about it. But I think that's a really good. Like I think he is could be the steal.
The craziest thing with him is like beginning of the year, like obviously behind Najee and like ETN, but he was like top 5 all year, and he's just tumbled down draft boards. Yep. I don't know why.
I did have 2 sleepers too, real quick. I had Rakeem Boyd from Arkansas. He was a last chance U running back. He's actually really talented. And then some some Mac love. I got Jared Patterson from Buffalo.
Jesus. He's not a bad little player. He
has great vision. That's why I think he can be an NFL running back.
He's going to be like a third down back, though. That's what he's going to be. I like it, though.
I think that Chuba should add a B into his name and just be Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba Hubbard's the coolest name in the draft by far.
if that was really
it is now on this show.
Yeah, it is.
If we talk about him, his name is Chuba Hubbard.
Facts. All right, wide receiver, tight end.
Yeah.
This list, we're all gonna have the same top 4, just in different orders. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, the only thing that's gonna vary here is the 5s.
But I want to hear the orders though.
Okay.
Let's kind of get a little quicker through this. Like I know you NFL comparisons. Start us off.
Cottrell went deep.
Rondale Moore from Purdue is my 5.
You can't have a 5'9" guy in top 5. Just my opinion.
Well, I do.
I know. I in my personal opinion.
Well,
there's not many 5'9" wide receivers.
I do.
That's fine. You obviously watch a little bit more college football than me. He's ranked 5.
Rondale Moore is a guy that's he's 5'9", but had he went to the combine, I think he would have been a high 4.2, low 4.3 guy. There's been plenty of receivers that are 5'9" that are out of this world. And then I just feel like, with Rondale, he's been a legit crazy athlete since he started as a true freshman from Purdue, played against Ohio State, and he was the best player on the field.
Who's like an all-time great 5'9" receiver?
Steve Smith.
If he's like the only one though, that's the name that pops in my head. Like you said a lot. Like he's the only one I can say.
5'9" exactly. There's probably not like.
Is he
crazy amount?
What did he measure? Is he actually 5'9" or is he
5'9", 180?
Yeah, he was 5'9".
All right, so he's 5'9". So he's small.
Yeah.
I mean, the plus you're getting with him is too. I mean, I don't know.
The one thing I like about him is he attacks the football. And I think if you're a 5'9" guy, you have to be able to attack the football.
You have to be aggressive. You have to go.
And he's strong.
He's strong.
Very, very strong.
He's
20 plus reps on bench press.
He's gonna. I mean, the big thing with him is depending on if the team lets him do it, is you're gonna be. You get the kick return game too. I mean, he's very, very adept at that.
Okay, give me your 4. And is your NFL comparison for this one?
I think he's going to be what we thought Tavon Austin was going to be.
That's fair.
Yeah, all right.
I see. I like that comparison.
But Tavon Austin's a perfect example of 5'9" busts.
That's
why I think he is. But that's fair. Dude, listen. At the end of the day, your name's College Cottrell. I'm not like.
True.
I'm just giving my opinion.
4 for me. I got Devonta Smith, Heisman Trophy winner.
Okay.
That might be a surprise to some people, but Devonta Smith, Slim Reaper. We'll see how durable he is, but I've been saying it all year. He's been my third ranked receiver from the jump. Like at the start of the year, he had his Heisman run. He still is my third receiver, so I'm staying consistent with that. My 3 is going to be Jalen Waddle from Alabama, so his teammate. I always thought Jalen Waddle was the better receiver between them. Jalen Waddle was another receiver that started as a true freshman, and I saw his talent from there, and I'm like, this kid's going to be a future first-round pick. My 2 is going to be Kyle Pitts. I think he's an out-of-this-world talent at tight end and crazy athlete. And then my number 1 is Jamar Chase from LSU. Didn't see him play this year, but best receiver in the class.
Mine's really unfair because it's the exact same list as Cottrell's, except I switched 5. So I'll go next because Bill might have a little bit different.
No, my list is exactly the same except for 5.
Okay, well then go ahead, Bill.
I'll just do 5 because, like I said, my reasoning is pretty much the same as Cottrell. Waddle was wide receiver 1 on that team before he got hurt. And Devontae, to his credit, picked up the opportunity and ran with it very well. And I think they're both going to be very good NFL wide receivers. I think Jamar Chase has the opportunity to be like the next elite kid in the league. He does
everything.
He does everything. He's super fast. He's strong. He can run every route, and he's big. I mean, he's a Julio, DeAndre Hopkins.
That's my comparison for him.
DeAndre, he has the chance to be the next generational wide receiver. So he's number 1 for me. Kyle Pitts is just going to make whatever team he goes to better. He is an absolute matchup nightmare for any defense. There's not going to be really any safety. There's definitely not going to be any linebackers that can cover him, and you're probably going to be hard pressed to find a safety that can cover him. But I'll just go to 5. I have Terrence Marshall Jr. from LSU. I think he's a little bit underrated. I think if he didn't play with Jamar Chase and Jefferson, he's probably the best wide receiver on 98% of the teams in the country. He's very good. He's very fast. He's a kid you can play outside, or they can put him in the slot. I think somebody's going to steal him in the end of the first round. He's going to go to a team that's obviously good because they're picking at the end of the first round, and I think he has a chance. He's a dark horse for Rookie of the Year next year, in my opinion.
That's perfectly fair. My 5 is so I'll break down my top 4 just like you did because our 5s are just different. I think you're absolutely correct with Chase being 1. Pitts is a matchup nightmare. I think he'll. You know, it's funny. I seen a mock draft recently that Pitts going 12 to the Eagles. I just seen one today. I swear to you.
I can't see how he falls there. I honestly, with the way that everything's shaking out up top and we're not getting one of the receivers, if he fell to 12, I'd be ecstatic. But it's just not going to happen.
Agreed. I have Waddle 3-2 over Smith. So we all have Waddle over Smith. So we all. I mean, if you watched Waddle 2 years ago, Waddle. If Waddle came out 2 years ago, he goes ahead of Judy and Ruggs. In my opinion,
I would have took him over Ruggs. I wouldn't have took him over Judy.
I tend to agree with that, but you could have made a case. Gene's also correct. I mean,
you definitely
the right team. You could make the case that Waddle was absolutely the better pick out of the 3 of them.
I think Waddle will end up being a better receiver out of the 3 of them, and I think that's it. Really just depends on the situation, but I think Waddle will be the better receiver of the 3.
I gotta see where he goes, but
listen, goes to Denver.
I mean, I don't think Waddle's going to Denver.
Bro, you're knocking that dude. Dude, he goes to Denver. They're a problem.
They are
a problem.
My 5, we all have the same 4. My 5s are Sharp Bateman, and he's ranked 6th on or 7th on some list.
He was my one that I left off, but he would have been like
he
was
probably
high
would
on
have been
my
next
list.
on my list. Yes,
big, strong, attacks the football, athletic, and he's fast for being big, strong, and athletic.
Who's your comp for him?
I don't know. I didn't really do a comp, but like to me, like, man, I don't know. He's just a really big, strong, athletic receiver. Like I don't know why he's listed as 6th, 7th.
I think
like I have no idea why the kid from Florida is ranked ahead of him.
Because he had a good Senior Bowl. That's why.
I get it.
That's
I
literally why
he did. He flew. He's one of those kids that flew up draft boards.
Senior Bowl, Senior Bowl love it's real. And
who will be a bust, Dante?
Uh-oh.
He said he will be a bust. Who? I don't know.
I wonder if he's talking about Bateman.
You got to put the name on there because if you're talking about Bateman, I don't agree, but we'll see. I think Marshall's a bust.
Bateman, no. Bateman.
He's talking about Bateman. He said he couldn't catch.
Listen, I've only seen him play a lot obviously because of the Big Ten. He's a very good deep threat because for a big guy he can run. So obviously you go down the field against a smaller corner, he has a great advantage. He does struggle. Yeah,
but so did T.O. I'm not saying he's T.O., but like
T.O.
T.O. dropped a lot of balls.
That was kind of like one of the dudes that was floating around in my head, like because he has the size like that.
Correct.
T.O.'s a way better route runner than Bateman is, though.
That's fair.
And he's not even a damn rookie yet. So I mean, it's
to be clear, T.O. was a terrible route runner coming out of college.
Agreed. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to bash Bateman. He's not even in the league yet. I don't have anything bad to say about him. I think there's other guys.
The highest drop ball percentage out of the top 7 receivers. So that would be what's bad about it, I guess.
He burned us a couple times. I mean, he's good. I mean, he's very good. So
he's going to make the highlight reel catch.
Yes,
he's a highlight reel receiver.
He's going to go. He's a 6'2" kid that can jump, and he's big. Like he's a big frame. He's a kid that's going to go down the field, and he's going to torment little corners as long as he goes to a team with a quarterback that can push the ball down the field.
I thinking out loud, like he wouldn't be a bad comp to say Deebo Samuel. Like that wouldn't be a bad comp.
I think he's a way higher ceiling than
I agree.
Deebo Samuel does.
And
but I'm saying if I'm giving a comp,
he's bigger than Deebo.
Yes,
he's bigger than Deebo.
But Deebo's still a strong.
Yeah.
Like San Francisco's got in their head that they're going to take every receiver that's going to be strong, physical, like with Kittle, and like that's who they are. That's why I get rid of Goodman. Didn't we get him back too?
No clue.
Marquise Goodwin, I think he's back on San Fran.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Like didn't play for the Eagles at all, and now he's back on San Fran.
So
he just pick swap for nothing
last year.
Nobody
mentions that enough either.
No,
that he just opted out and walked out on us.
Yeah, and then basically went back for nothing.
Yeah, jerk off.
Let's get to O-line.
All right,
this O-line list is fun. in my opinion.
Real quick before I go to online, my sleeper, you know about him probably, but Tylan Wallace from Oklahoma State.
I'll give you a sleeper because he's in the same kind of mold as like Bateman and those guys. He's actually probably a little bit faster than Bateman, but he's going to go lower. He's probably going to go in the third or fourth round, and it's not a homer pick. It's going to kind of be like Peoples-Jones. Somebody's going to take Nico Collins in the third or fourth round, and they're going to get a steal.
100%.
The kid is all he, and the funny thing is the knock on him is kind of like Bateman too. He drops passes he shouldn't drop sometimes. That kid is an athlete though, is a stud. Like somebody's going to get him in the third or fourth round and be very happy.
I 100% agree.
I still can't believe your boy didn't come out, dude.
He'll be receiver one next year.
Yeah, he probably will be.
All right, so O-line.
We all have the same one. We better. I swear to God.
Yeah.
God. All right, just gotta go 5.
So my 5, I had
like number one overall or the same list.
Same number 1 overall.
I mean, if you don't have a number one, I would love to hear the reasoning.
My 5, I had 2 people tied at 5. I couldn't pick, so I tied them. Landon Dickerson from Alabama and Creed Humphrey from Oklahoma.
I have neither in my top 5.
Neither.
Creed Humphrey is going to be a day one starter, and he's going to be really good at center. Like no questions asked about it. Landon Dickerson, I have him valued high because he could play center or he can play guard, and he's played left tackle in the past, so he's athletic, but he's going to be a center or a guard in the league, and I think that athleticism is important.
He is super good. I don't know if he'll play center or guard. He's not going to play tackle in the NFL though.
Facts.
He'll be a center or guard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree.
He's going to be. He'll probably.
Who's your
my
4?
My 4 is
three-way tie here.
My 4 is Wyatt Davis from Ohio State. Really good guard. All-American guard. My 3 is Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech. Tackle from Virginia Tech. Really good player. Rashawn Slater is my 2 from Northwestern. Left tackle. Really athletic. And then, of course, my number 1 is Penei Sewell from Oregon. He's the second coming. He's probably going to be for me, he's the no doubt about it Hall of Famer in this class. That's my bold statement.
You gave an NFL comparison of him earlier in the year as Orlando Pace, which I think, it's funny because one of the things they said about him was not Orlando Pace, and then the response from Mel Kiper was, well, if he played this year, he could have been Orlando Pace.
Yeah,
like Penei Sewell's.
That's pretty spot on, actually.
My top 3 is identical to yours. My 4 and 5 are different. But Gad, you want to get your 5?
I think our lists are identical, are they not?
Me and you?
I think so.
Give me your 5.
I have Tevin Jenkins.
That's not my 5. He's my 4.
Okay, so those two
flip
flop-flopped. Oh, that's right. Okay. From Oklahoma State, I think everybody on my list kind of know what Cottrell said. I think they all start next year. I have Elijah Vera Tucker from USC at 4.
I have Vera Tucker 5.
Okay, so that was the mix-up.
That's the difference. Me and you just swapped
those
two.
And then my top 3 are exactly the same as his.
Same.
You guys don't like Wyatt Davis?
I mean,
not really. Listen, it's one of those weird things too. You value tackles over guards for.
I'm with you, but I think for me, Wyatt Davis is the best guard in the class, and it's not. I'm not gonna say it's not close, but he's.
I wouldn't argue that.
Really solid.
If I could draft a guard or a tackle in the first round, I'm going to take a tackle.
Do you take a great? Okay. Well, for draft purposes, I understand, but would you rather have on your team a great guard or a solid tackle?
I mean, it's really situation. I mean,
there's a reason guards don't normally get drafted that high.
I mean, guards. A lot of guards.
I'm not.
Guys
this isn't draft projection. I'm just saying like who I think the better players are. That's how I gave my top 5.
I just think tackles are more valuable.
It's more valuable because they have the harder job.
They're dealing with the edge rushers. They're dealing with the people that are taking your quarterback's head off.
I'm not arguing that. I'm going with who I think the better players are going to. Like if this was Madden, I'm going with who I think the higher overalls will be.
Yeah, that's fair. This is really interesting that we all have Slater over Darrisaw, when most mock drafts have Darrisaw over Slater. Most rankings have Darrisaw over Slater.
The last couple of days, I've seen Slater be ahead on a bunch of them.
There's a couple that even like toy with the idea of Slater over Sewell.
Yeah, that's silly. Not saying like Slater's great, and he's going to be a good.
I think it just
goes to the point
really well at his pro day.
That
like
Slater's definitely better than Darrisaw. That to me it cements that. I think I think 5 years from now, it could be a very interesting conversation.
So we all gave our top fives for all those. I want to take a minute or two to go over the Atletico report, and then we're going to get You Gotta Be Kidding Me. But I just want to go over it real quick because it's big news in the Philadelphia area. If you didn't read it, I'll give you the Cliff Notes. It is embarrassing for Jeffrey Lurie and the Eagles organization. They were talking about almost firing Doug Peterson before the 2017 season. They pulled Jim Schwartz in for 3 hours to talk to him about an in-house replacement for the 2017 season because they were talking about firing Doug Peterson before he won the Super Bowl. They had weekly meetings with him Tuesday, even after wins, especially huge wins over the Green Bay Packers, the 31-24 win, to put them to 2-2. Ask him why they didn't throw the ball more. If you're wondering why the Philadelphia Eagles do not run the ball more, it's because Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman's belief in analytics and throwing the football. That report is damaging, and the reason I wanted to bring it up is because I really wanted to give. Look, dude, I'm gonna pat myself on the back. Bill's gonna pat himself on the back because when in situations like this, when we called this stuff 6 months ago, 7 months ago, when we're telling you that we have a meddling owner that wants to be Jerry Jones, when we're telling you we have a weasel GM that's pulling the strings behind this, it's for a reason, guys. Like, we really follow this stuff. And if you want to read the report, I don't have full time to go over it, but if you want to read the report, it is some damning information about the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't. Bill, you want to comment on that?
No, I just have two things to add. I mean, it's, again, for all the people that want to point the finger at Carson and, while part of it was his fault and he played bad, you had another report come out today how they're 100% behind Jalen Hurts. And they just act like people don't listen to the news around here. You had confirmed reports as early as a week and a half ago about them trying to get up to 2 or 3 to draft a quarterback. They're not behind this kid. They're going to do the same thing they did to him that they did to Carson Wentz. There's more reports that came out today.
Deshaun Watson.
That they're all in on trying to get Deshaun Watson if he gets cleared on all this stuff. There's reports they're trying to get up to 8 and maybe take Lance or Fields if he falls there.
Could you imagine taking another North Dakota State quarterback?
The irony is beyond belief, but so I mean, again, like, you now have this kid in Jalen Hurts who you've handed the team over, and by all accounts, if you take away your personal feelings or about Carson staying or going, the kid's done everything right. Kid's done everything he can to try to get the locker room to unite it, to get these guys to play for him, and you've already now gone behind his back twice and sabotaged him. Like, he has to know, and
he's walking into a situation that's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
It's a lose-lose situation.
The team's going to be terrible.
Yes.
They're going to put the most of the blame on him. They're not putting him in a situation to succeed. And then in the back of his head, he already knows that they don't think he's the guy. And then the other, the only other thing I really want to mention is this. It's beyond embarrassing. I'm not one of those "I told you so" people, but
I will be for this.
John Clark had that quick interview with Doug right after he got fired, and I don't think a lot of people gave credence to it when it happened. But if you look back on it now, it's spot on, and it confirms everything that's in this report. John Clark simply asked him, like, "How do you feel about everything?" And he said, honestly, I'm proud of what we accomplished here. He's like, I feel good about it. I'm going to move on. And he's like, and honestly, I'm glad that I'm not going to get told how to do my job every day. And that's literally what's in the Athletic report. He confirmed this 3 months ago before the report even came out. Like, sorry, like you have two little guys that are running this team that have never probably played a sport in their life, and they think they know better than everybody.
That would be like me and you were trying to play fantasy football with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
So we gotta move on to You Gotta Be Kidding Me, and I just wanted to make a comment on that Athletic report because it is very recent news and it's very Philadelphia based. Cottrell, why don't you start with yours?
All right, so mine this week, I'm going to go back to Augusta. It's going to be Matt Wolff getting disqualified from the Masters tournament. So for you guys who don't know, Matt Wolff got disqualified because he signed a scorecard that it basically had an incorrect score on it. So I don't want to just say that he was, cheating on purpose, but you got to be kidding me for two reasons. Either A, you were cheating on purpose and you thought you can get away with it, or B, you weren't paying attention enough at the Masters and just turned in a scorecard that was incorrect. So for that, Matt Wolff, I know everybody makes mistakes, but
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Thank you, Cottrell. That's a funny one. I have a feeling we're headed back to Augusta.
We are.
Shall we?
You'd be surprised. That happens 3 or 4 times every year, though. Like a pro does it. It's crazy. It's definitely not a cheating thing. They literally write stuff down wrong. But yeah, we're going back to Augusta, Georgia. So for this week, it's going to be Xander Schauffele for me. He's a young, talented golfer. He's probably going to win majors later on down in his career. But when you have the chance to possibly win the Masters staring in front of you in a tournament where you have no Tiger Woods, Justin Thomas is out of it, Brooks Koepka is injured and missed the cut. Pretty much, other than Jordan Spieth, who just got his game back together, you had the opportunity to win a Masters without really having to go through like Murderer's Row. Everybody knows on Sunday that pin is in the same place every single Sunday for the last 75 years. You hit the ball to the middle of the green and you let it roll down the hill to 5 or 6 feet of the hole. You either make the birdie putt or you tap in for par and you go to the 17th. Matsuyama was tight. Everybody knew it. You even saw it on his even after he hit the ball in the water, Matsuyama still shanked his tee shot on 16. He was getting tight. You cannot hit that shot there. I don't care about his explanation. I don't care about he thought he hit a great shot, whatever it is. You take that miss out of play. Any professional golfer will tell you that. You take an 8-iron, you hit to the side of the hill, and you let it roll down. He potentially pissed away a major. I'm sure he's probably, he can say whatever he wants publicly. He's probably kicking himself in the ass for it. I would be. You potentially let a green jacket slip through your hands. So for me for this week, it is Xander Schauffele.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
All right, so I want to thank Xander Schauffele. Appreciate you. All right, so for me, it's kind of a mixture of both. So I came in here with the idea that it was going to be Shannon Sharp, and still is. So first of all, listen, Shannon Sharp, I like Shannon Sharp. He's entertaining to watch. I can't stand Skip Bayless, but I like. You cannot be a national reporter on a show and just take a Twitter comment and not verify it and be like, well, this is what happened. This is what was said. If you don't know, Shannon Sharp, he basically took a comment that was put together. It was fake on Twitter about Kevin Durant saying that why am I not the GOAT? I beat the GOAT twice and I beat LeBron and disrespecting LeBron. It was something that was meant to get retweets and shares and all that crap. And he took that as if Kevin Durant really said that without actually verifying it. You can't do that. In any form of trust me, man, there's a lot of stuff I want to say on this show that is fact, but it's when I you can't misquote someone like that. That and Katie and Kyrie and the Brooklyn Nets for the way they handled the game tonight with the Philadelphia 76ers. So those two together, and they kind of go hand in hand with Shannon Sharp and Kevin Durant. But for that this week, Kevin Durant, Shannon Sharp, you guys are both.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Any final thoughts, guys?
No, I mean, I'm excited to see how everything plays out with the draft. It was interesting to see that Justin Fields had his second pro day today and all the teams that were mentioned on being there. So we'll see what comes out of it the next couple of weeks. Yeah.
I can't. I'll make a quick. You have last comment or no?
Yeah, go ahead. So you're gonna say, I'll go.
My last comment is as clear as it could possibly be. Justin Fields does not get drafted as the third quarterback. Listen, you want to make an argument for Zach Wilson, fine. I don't agree with you, but if Justin Fields doesn't get drafted as the third quarterback in this draft. I cannot wait till that GM gets fired.
I mean, it could happen.
It's a laughable.
Both things could happen. Like I said, at the end of the day, it still could be better for him. So
could be.
I mean, it all depends where he goes.
Do you have any final comment?
Just gonna wish Shay Simpkins happy birthday. Birthday's at the end of the week. Big party Saturday. Just giving her a shout out. That's it.
Where's the party at? No, thank you so much for tuning in. Download our episode, share us.
Steve Gardner's house.
All that stuff. Thank you so much. It's episode 27, Toxic Radio. Wire to wire. We're out.